I don't know why, but today it seems like my frame is too wide for my background. It's the exact same frame I've always been using. Weird. Hi guys! Okay, so I've had some lovely comments and warnings since my last announcement saying that I am moving to China, and yes, I will hopefully do lots more videos about the actual process of doing that, how what company I'm going through, how I got access to that, how I discovered it, all that kind of thing. I'll do a whole bunch of things, as well as obviously the logistics of moving to another country and becoming a TEFL qualified teacher. All of that stuff will be in videos, and I'll also, just FYI, I will be doing a March #WorthIt video where I recommend the stuff from March, but because March was kind of a write-off month where I was just doing like paperwork and visa stuff and nonsense, I didn't actually get to watch or read a whole lot of media, so I'm probably going to combine it with April, so it'll be a March/April #WorthIt, because April's been a little bit more chilled where things have been sorted, so yeah, that will be coming out at some point. Yeah, anyway, so I thought this video I could talk about money, which is one of the biggest things that us British never speak about, which we really ought to, because a lot of us are really bad with money, and it's, you know, kind of what makes the world go around, so we need to talk about it. Like I said in my last update video where I said, hey, I'm moving to China, I said that the reason last year, which I really didn't do that much travel, was because I was saving up for this big move, and whilst I will be working out there, I have a position, it's a paid position, I will be making money, and some of my expenses are actually going to be reimbursed to me as well. I still needed to sort out like a good bit of finance before actually moving. I need to pay for my flight up front, I needed to pay for my TEFL, which again gets reimbursed to me, both of those. I needed to, you know, redo my insurance, just lots of different things that obviously were going to cost money up front, and so I knew that I needed to save a lot of money. And so this video is basically the top decisions that I made last year that saved me the most money. Okay, and you can recreate these if you've got a big trip coming up, or if you just want to save a bit of cash, you can try some of these out and see if they helped you. Number one is, of course, I got a second job. I've worked my entire life since I was 11 years old. I started volunteering, and then that turned into a paid job, which was illegal because 11-year-olds really aren't supposed to be working, but yeah, that's besides the point. So yes, I always work multiple different jobs because I am self-employed in my own little business, my own writing, that sort of thing, and if you want to be an artist like myself, you tend to need to work a lot of other jobs to make that work until you hit the big time and, you know, become like J.K. Rowling or Picasso levels of fame, which, you know, some people it might never happen, but I'm still waiting for that ticket to come on in. Yeah, so basically you're always working lots of different things, and I'm no different. I always work multiple jobs to support my own little self-employed income. Year before last, I became a Christmas temp at the Body Shop, and essentially they just asked me to stay on and liked me enough that it became a fairly steady job. I was only supposed to be 8 hours, and I don't know if I ever did just 8 hours. I was always working like double, if not triple, quadruple times my contract, which towards like summer and Christmas did actually start interfering with my own self-employed work, which was a bit annoying, but it did allow me to save quite a lot of money. That was definitely very beneficial, and plus it just helped sort of get me out of the house, because when you work by yourself, for yourself, it can get a little bit lonely, it can get a little bit lack of motivation sometimes, and lack of exercise or proper food, I find. So it was good for me to just sort of go, okay, I'm getting out the house, I've got to go here for my shift, and actually be sociable and see the work colleagues, which by the way, the team at the Body Shop is one of the nicest teams I've ever worked for. They're just really good, friendly people, so that was always nice. Yeah, got to try out my social skills a bit more, which I'm really not good with people. I'm much better with people when there's a camera in between us. Like direct human contact, I'm better with animals. Yeah. So yes, and in order to keep hold of the money that I made, I decided that I would walk to work. And that is about an hour-and-a-half walk from where I live now to the place I worked was called Newport, and I'd walk up a beautiful cycle path. It would take a long time, but it was very, very lovely, and it actually forced me to do some exercise, forced me to get out into the open air, which is always good for, like, you know, health, complexion, everything. And again, like I said, when you work for yourself, it's very easy to become like a hermit, where you just live in your house and never leave. And so this was a good sort of way of going, no, I have to leave, I have to do this hour's work. So in terms of time, obviously I lost a lot of time because like an hour-and-a-half walk there is, and then an hour-and-a-half walk back again, which a lot of the time I'd walk back again as well. You know, that's like 3 hours out of your day that you've kind of lost. However, I have my Audible books in, and so I don't feel like I've wasted that time, because I'm using that time to listen to my books, to learn, or just entertainment or whatever. So it wasn't wasted time for me. But the main reason that I did it was to save money from the bus. I don't drive, and the buses on the Isle of Wight where I live are ridiculously overpriced. They have a monopoly where there's no other bus service here. There's just the one, so they can charge whatever the feck they want, and believe me, they do. So it's like £3.50 to get, you know, from my old house in Cowes, £3.50 to get to Newport. So I was essentially spending like an hour's wage from just getting there and back again on the bus each time. And that's one of the reasons when I worked at Monsoon, it was actually costing me money to work there. Like, I was paying them in between, like buying the uniform and stuff, and paying, yeah, literally an hour's wage of the bus. I'd have like a 4-hour contract, so I'd spend an hour's money to get to work, then do 4 hours, which I technically only got paid for 3 because I was giving that money back in the bus, and then went home again. It was just pointless. So yeah, so essentially I just promised myself this year that this last year that I was going to walk it and I wouldn't use the bus, and unless it was absolutely tipping it down. Even a couple of times when it was raining, I just went, because walking in the rain, as long as you've got like an umbrella, it's like lovely. So I actually anticipate I saved an awful lot of money doing that, and yeah, I was just able to save that. The other thing that I did is I stopped drinking. I'm not a big drinker, I'm not a drunk, let's just put that out there, not a drunk, don't drink an awful lot, but obviously I've been known to enjoy a drink or two, like back in my youth, and I just decided that, yeah, I wasn't gonna drink. I maybe had a couple of ciders over Christmas, and that's pretty much it. I didn't go out heavy drinking at all last year, and that wasn't denying myself. I still enjoyed myself with some friends and things, and we mostly had like coffee dates instead. Yeah, that just saved me a lot of money, because yeah, I didn't need to drink. I could still enjoy myself without alcohol, and just saved a lot, because when you do go out for a drink, it's a whole social thing. It's not just, oh, I only want one drink. You end up having multiple drinks just out of the nature of you know, being in a bar with friends. You just go, oh yeah, another round, whatever. It just happens naturally. The biggest thing that I probably did was, it's gonna be controversial, I moved in with my mum. This is not the best decision for your social life. This is definitely not the best decision for your mental health and family life. However, it was an excellent decision monetarily wise, and basically my mum got divorced and had to sell the family home, which is the many episodes where I was like selling all of our belongings because it wasn't going to fit in the new bungalow that we had. And yeah, she was looking for a place to live, and I was in between places, as I always am, in between traveling, and she was kind of struggling with money and things, so I was like, do you know what? Why don't we move in together temporarily? You get a place that you can afford by yourself, but whilst I'm there, I will split everything with you, and you know, it's just going to help her out a bit. And it's kind of what we did. And essentially, it's kind of expensive here, but where we're halving it, it's way cheaper than had I gone and found my own little flat or house sit or whatever. And this way I get to help out my mum as well, so I'm kind of like, it's a win-win basically. Although now she's like, now that I'm leaving, I'm having to do the whole moving thing all over again, packing everything up and sorting stuff out. But I will also be supporting her. I'll continue to support her by basically the room that I have now, we're going to turn into like a storage room, and I will pay her a storage fee. Instead of me giving the money to a storage company, I'll just give it to my mum, and she can safely store my stuff. And that's just going to be, again, beneficial for both of us, because I know that she's not going to go, oh, your lease is up, and throwing your stuff out. Like, there won't be any like mixture. Oh god, I hope not. I have to stay on good terms with her. I'll buy her a present. That was a huge sacrifice, I think, for both of us really, because it's very, very difficult being an adult and then living with your parent again, and we were never particularly close to begin with. But it's been nice that I've been able to be here for her while she's going through stuff and tricky divorce and money things, and I've had a nice, dry, warm, safe place to you know, hang out whilst I'm not working, and getting ready to do the next big travel. And that's always the thing, is, you know, because I travel so much, it seems really unfair for me to go into like a house share situation where I'm like, hey guys, by the way, I'm only gonna be here for 6 months, and then I'm dumping you to find a whole nother person to pick up the lease again. It just seems kind of cruel. So I always find like little other solutions, like staying with friends, family, that kind of thing, and I still pay them, but it's, you know, lesser than what I would have paid had I done a whole new house sit through like a agency or something. So that's something to consider if you have somebody in your life who, you know, needs some help or something, or could do with some extra money, has a spare room, or a couch even, and yeah, is okay with that. And it's a challenge, definitely, but it can save you an awful lot of money in the long run. Probably the best decision that I made last year was I actually allowed myself to be overtaxed. And this was because through the Body Shop, I automatically got put on the default tax code, and I don't earn enough to be taxed, basically. Even with my 2 jobs, I'm under the threshold of being taxed. However, as soon as you get a new job, they automatically put you on the default tax, and you have to call them up and be like, I'm not making that, can you stop taxing me please? And then they like reimburse you and stuff. However, this last year, I basically made the decision that I was going to allow them to take that money, because I knew I'd get it back in a rebate. I knew that I'd be under the threshold. I knew that I wasn't supposed to be being taxed that. After I've done my taxes and they've noted, oh okay, she's overpaid in tax, that all gets given back to me. And it's quite a good tidy sum. If you don't trust yourself enough to not dip into your savings account, that's a really fantastic way of saving. Yes, it doesn't accrue any interest. However, when we're talking only like a couple of grand, you're not making that much interest anyway, like, you know, what, 20p or whatever the fuck it is. British interest in banks sucks ass unless you're making millions. So I was kind of like, well, it's my money. I know I'm going to get it back, and this way I am not allowed to like dip into it. I don't have access to it. If it's in my savings account, it's a bit more of a palaver from like an ISA or something, but you can still take money out of it. And due like around Christmas or something, I do find that I'm like, well, I can just dip into that because it's buying for other people, like presents and things, and so I do go into my savings sometimes. So I was like, I'm gonna be really strict with myself and completely deny myself the option of dipping into it. I'm just going to have the government take my extra tax and then I'll get it all back in a lump sum, and this has worked beautifully. So right as I'm about to go to China, I'm about to get a rebate of like over £1,000, and that's going to pay for my flight, and I've already got my insurance and things, but basically it's just like a cash cushion that I can now transfer into Kuwait and go to China and have this money already, so I don't have to wait like a whole month before I get my first wage where I'm like, I can only eat bread and nothing else, I can't afford even peanut butter. This way I can actually afford to buy proper food, enjoy myself, and maybe, you know, treat myself to some souvenir postcards or something where I'm not going to be destitute as soon as I've arrived. And yeah, if anyone wants to try this, you do need to be careful to make sure that you are definitely going to be under the threshold, because otherwise you don't want to find that, oh, I've allowed myself to be taxed, and then go, oh crap, they're keeping all of that because you've become over the threshold. But no, this was just a really good option for myself when I was like, I don't know if I'll have the discipline over Christmas to not dip into it, or if things get really difficult, because I'm obviously getting a lot less from my wage than I would have been had I not been taxed, and it's just forced me to sort of scrimp and save a bit more, be a bit more frugal with things, and I thought that was a good sort of learning lesson, and I enjoyed it. Learning lesson, as opposed to those other lessons where you don't learn anything. High school. The other thing that I was testing my discipline with is I committed to the 30-day challenge. This is if you want to buy something that isn't a necessity, like food or sometimes like toiletries or something, then I have to wait at least 30 days, and at the end of the 30 days, if I still want it, if I still justify it, if I still think yes I really do need or slash want this, then I'm allowed to buy it, but I'm not allowed to buy it on the spot. And this basically just breaks up that impulse buying of, ooh, I like it, it's pretty, I want it, I need it. And then I have to really kind of go, well, do I need it? Can I afford it? Look in my closet, oh, I've already got something like it. Can I make do with the things I already have? Can I find it cheaper as well? Like I do, like as soon as I find something in the shop and I'm like, oh, I love it so much, I'll go on eBay and see if I can find it any cheaper. Find discount codes or whatever. It just breaks up that immediate handing over the money, and sometimes you might kind of go, ah, no, I really didn't need that. Another time you'll be like, yeah, no, I still really want it after 30 days. Yeah, I want it, I need it. And that's just been really helpful for me. The only thing that this doesn't work on for me is impulse snacking, which is the other thing that I really tried to tackle last year. Is if I'm like peckish, hungry, whatever, I will go to Poundland and go, oh, crisps, chocolate, cake, biscuits, everything, like anything that looks good, because I'm like, well, it's only £1. I justify it by going, it's cheap. However, if you're doing that every other 2 to 3 days, especially because I was working right next to Poundland and B&M's and like other budget stores, I could quite easily on my lunch break just pop into these stores and spend like £5 to £10 every single time, and there's no way that I needed to do that. I often found that I had like half opened bags of things from like a week ago that I hadn't finished, and it's not particularly healthy. It's not healthy on your bank account, it's not healthy on your body, and so I was trying really hard to be more disciplined with myself, just strict with what I was allowed to impulse buy, and essentially I started bringing more of my own packed lunches to work. I tried to make my own snacks as much as humanly possible, or buy them in bulk. So I wasn't just buying like one drink, I'd buy a bigger bottle and then decant it into the plastic bottles. That also cut down on my plastic waste as well. Recycle, folks. And yeah, I was just way more strict. The girls at work can tell you that every single day I would come with my little travel mug of tea, and I'd bring my own tea bags as well, because I didn't like the tea bags that were at work. This is the tea snob, properly British. And I'd make my own tea instead of going to the coffee shop and buying one. you really don't think that, oh, £1.20, £2.50, whatever, that's going to be that much. But when you're doing it every single day, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, it really does add up. And so it's fantastic to be able to, I kept a money diary as well, and I've really consistently done that this year as well, where I properly wrote down what it is I'm spending on what days, and then at the end of each week and the end of each month total it all up and see where your money is going. That's really helpful to kind of go, oh my god, I spent like £40 in Poundland, how did I even do that? And it's so easy when you convince yourself it's a budget shop, I'm not spending that much money. You actually really are. And so if you can nip that habit in the butt and actually get an overview of your cash and where it's going, it's way easier to save it, and it doesn't feel like you're saving up for this big unattainable thing anymore, because each time you see the money rise, like how much you're actually saving on what you would have spent, you can start picturing all these fabulous ideas of what you're then gonna spend it on. You know, I've got this wonderful image in my head of all the things that I might do in China and the following countries that I'll travel to, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not gonna buy that coffee today so that I can perhaps have that coffee in Morocco or something, you know, like I'll spend that money later on in somewhere more fantastic and fabulous and things. And that to me isn't a sacrifice, because the things that make me happiest are traveling and exploring and sharing new experiences with people, and I'm not going to do that from my hometown really. So that was just what I decided I was going to do, and it's been amazing. And so yes, hopefully it'll all be worth it when I move to China, get to go do all these fantastic fabulous things, meet new challenges. I'm aware like some lovely commenters have been like, you know, that China's like got some really bad stuff. I do know, and I know that I'll be horrified and surprised and shocked by a lot of different things, but I am about every country I've been to. Like when I was in Ireland, I was just like, oh my god, the pollution, the litter problem was unreal, and I just did not anticipate that at all. And in Greece as well, where just like things were just not opening on time or just at all, and they were just like, you know, the shop was open from 11 till 6. No, you're not, like you've been closed for 4 days. Like, just there's always going to be things that you're shocked about, that you're annoyed about or whatever. But also I think you need to come across that stuff. You don't want to come across things that always go your way, because you'll never grow as a person. I want to be challenged. I want to experience different opinions and new things, and so yeah, I want to experience it and get my opinion changed and challenged and things, because that's how you become a better person, how you become a more compassionate person. At least that's the hope anyway. Otherwise I'm just, you know, otherwise I'm just eating lots of different food in different countries, and filming it, which, you know, it's still fun. Anyways, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this one. Have you got any top money saving tips? Put them in the comments down below. I love chatting to you guys. It's always really fun. Anyway, thank you so much for liking, commenting and subscribing, and I'll see you in the world. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.